All right, we are back with the first review of the Biden administration. I thought about just canceling this just because it was time to celebrate, but I said I got to do what the people want, give them the content they need in these trying times. So here we go. We are back with a review of Calvin Harris's 18 Months. This is my first review of an EDM album, which is a genre that I absolutely love. So I thought I might be biased coming into this, but the headline is I don't think I am too biased. So for me, this album scores around a 3, primarily because while it has some amazing songs on it, which you can absolutely get into, it has some straight up misses, and let's call it what it is. This is just a party album that was a point in time 2010s album that likely has no longevity. I had heard a number of the songs on here, but had never listened to the album straight through, so it was an interesting experience from that perspective. From a track perspective, my favorite track before listening to the whole album was We Found Love. Afterwards, it was still the same. The worst track on this album, there are two that are just abysmal. Drinking from the Bottle, which in my opinion, anything with Tiny Tempa just seems super dated. So that one stood out. The lyrics are absolutely horrendous. We'll get to that in a minute. And also the song Here to China is also atrocious. So there are two complete misses, not even just, oh, the song is okay. They're terrible songs on here. And that definitely plays into the overall experience and overall score for this. So ticking through the different elements here that we grade on, how much can you get into this album? Obviously, as I mentioned, there are some great songs on here that you are all in on, but there are others where you just miss it. Some classics, Thinking About You, Bounce, We Found Love, like I mentioned, I Need Your Love. A lot of great stuff there, but again, don't need to belabor the point on some of the misses there. From a music production standpoint, the highs are really high, and there's some great music that is coming from that's really enjoyable and just really highlights what that era was about from an EDM perspective. On the range side of things, there's not a whole lot going on here. Guetta sticks for the most part with his collaboration-based approach, which I think for the most part works. But he doesn't go a whole lot more than that. There's a bit more kind of rap focus on some, speed some stuff up, slow some stuff down. But it's I don't want to say it's one note, but it stays within its wheelhouse. From a lyrical standpoint, look, this isn't a lyrical album. That's not the point. This is generic EDM party feel good music, and that's okay for what it is. But as mentioned, there's also just some terrible songs in here lyrically. Drinking from the Bottle just seems so dated. It's so generic party, Kardashians, etc., that it drags the score down for this. And from an overall album experience perspective, there's no flow to this. It's just a bunch of singles. They don't tie together, which again can be fine, but that is one thing I'm scoring on. So there's not much going on there. And then from a timelessness perspective, like I mentioned up front, this definitely feels more like a point in time type album. There are some songs on here that are going to have a little bit more longevity, but it starts to seem a little bit aged already, and I expect that feeling to only grow as the years go by. All right, so that's all I got for this one. Next one we'll see is going to be, I think, Common B or Kendrick Lamar. We'll see.